Three, two, one.
Clap
Oh,
sync.
all right. Welcome back to the Two Top Podcast
Live.
video edition.
Where do we look?
Yeah, who knew? This one, that one, that one.
I don't know.
Well, for now, I'll look at you.
As we normally do.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just how we do it. Yeah, the fans have never seen it.
No, this is what my lovely face looks like, and that's Matt. And this is where we're normally at.
This is the set, the studio.
Yeah, I think it's a lovely space. You guys have really been missing out on what really goes on over here.
Our environment, our creative
A little
environment.
blank wall over there, but
We'll get some foam there.
yeah,
How about that?
some foam.
Some
Nice
foam.
Well, Matt, this is a show about topics,
2 topics.
two of them normally, and today, due to the summer heat, I've been thinking of something cold. You know, I wish I could just cool off. And, you know, some people have cooled off so much that they've just frozen through time. Like, you know, Captain America, he froze.
Cryogenic.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Cryonics, Fry from Futurama, freeze and travel to the future. But yeah, today we're talking about cryonics. So cryonics, as we know today, began back in the 1960s, 1962 to be exact, when Robert Ettinger he suggested in his book The Prospect of Immortality that freezing people could preserve them so that they would be able to be more advanced in the future. So like, say you're about to die and they're like, quick, freeze.
Future medicine
And then
can
when
bring
medicine
you back.
gets better, we'll be like, now come back.
Pausing the situation. Pausing someone's life. Simple as that, right?
Exactly.
Simple. Yeah.
So if it's the main idea of, if we can save the mind, then we can save the person. Like, if they lose the body, it's fine, but as long as we keep the mind and their personality and their soul, that's all they need. So there are some problems, as you'd expect, being frozen for an extended period of time. Well, when you'd be defrosted, we can freeze you, but the problem is when you get defrosted, you'd have to, well, fix the part of being frozen. We'd have to defrost you. We'd have to fix the thing that killed the person. Say if they died of cancer or a heart attack. Well, they're dead, and now we have to heal them of those ailments. And then after that, we have to, well, once they're healed, we have to bring them back to life. We have to resuscitate them. So there's a lot of...
So it's emergency room as soon as you wake them up, right?
Yeah,
Kinda instant.
You need to fix a lot of things. So in order to like freeze them in this suspended animation state, we have to reach a degree of negative 320 degrees Fahrenheit.
That is determined based on freezing the brain's functions or something, or just storing
That's
the human
completely
body.
stopping it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a process called vitrification, and we use it to
Vitrification.
save embryos and organs for people like going through processes right now.
So cryogenics, or it is called
Cryonics.
Cryonics are actually utilized now.
Yeah, well, there's cryonics and cryogenetics. They're two different things. But
Okay. So cryonics are freezing organs and particular things in a certain moment, and cryogenics
is like slowing down the body's functions.
Okay, but in this case, we're freezing to pause it at a certain state.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, Matt, I hear how you're talking about it, and it sounds like you don't think this is a real thing yet.
No. Yeah, I just heard you say that organs were used. It seems a little sci-fi to me, doesn't it?
Oh, Matt, we've been freezing people since the 70s.
The 70s.
The company
That makes sense.
The company Alcor has been freezing people since 1977 was their first freezing. And it was actually originally started by that guy who wrote the book in 62, Robert Edinburgh. So it actually became a thing they do. They now freeze people.
They do.
And there's tons of frozen people in the Arizona desert.
Okay, we talked about this before. Do you remember? Way back in the early episodes of Two Top, the lost episodes? Anyone?
We did all the way
But
back
it was
then.
specifically, I don't know if you're going to get to it, but it was specifically one person in general that we were talking about who happened to
freeze,
yeah.
Well,
be frozen.
we're talking about the commercial benefits of being frozen. So, well, in order to freeze it, let's talk about how Alcor does it. So, right when you die, it's immediate. It's when you're dead, but before you're brain dead. Because if you're brain dead, you're dead.
Do you know how long it takes to be brain dead?
Like 2 minutes.
Yeah, okay. That's like a total hospital scene in a movie.
So they got to
like,
freeze the brain before that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then what they do is once they've kind of slowed it all down, they take all your blood out, because when you freeze the blood, it crystallizes, and then you get little punctures in all your stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Ooh,
so they
punctures in all my stuff.
So
Ugh.
they take all the blood out, and then by taking the blood out, they then replace it with kind of like blood antifreeze.
Huh.
Which is, I don't know.
You know, that's like a thing they do with critters that they're gonna do dissections on. They stick whatchamacallit in their blood, and that one what's the substance they put in to preserve critters?
Critter fluid? I don't know.
Critter fluid. It'll come to me in a minute. Someone must know what we're talking about.
But
it stinks.
They do that, and then they also keep the blood flowing to the brain as they're like chilling the body. So like even if the person's like dead and can't breathe, they're like still pumping blood.
They're trying to keep the brain alive as long as they can.
Yes.
Before they lock it shut with frozen technology.
But Alcor is they're a leader, and Matt, I mean, if you're down for freezing, I have some prices for you.
Hit me with a quote. How much does it cost to freeze this guy right here?
It's not cheap. But I want you to guess the price.
I feel like, I mean, you're dying, so they're gonna take all your money, right?
Well, yeah.
Is it? I'm guessing like $500,000.
Oh, close. It's a fifth of a million. The minimum cost is $200,000.
What? When you say minimum, are there different packages?
Yeah, there are.
How's it differ?
So, well, the minimum cost for a whole body to be frozen is that much, $500,200,000. But if you just want the brain frozen, it's only $80,000.
Oh, okay, wow.
But that includes the holding of the body, which is
storage.
The storage
after death storage
is $115,000, and then what's great about Alcor is because you're paying such a high premium, and you actually also pay membership fees to like keep the life going.
It's a VIP club.
Yeah, of course.
All access.
We freeze them.
Death club.
Join the club. Anyway.
Join the club.
So when they get we're sleeping with the fishes under the ice.
Yeah, you're sleeping with the fishes.
You're sleeping with the ice trolls. But
you're dead.
You dead. Well, to them, Alcor says they're not our deceased. They're our patients. They're just undergoing a neurological process right now. They're not dead. They're sleeping.
They're sleeping. Yeah, they're frozen.
But by paying so much for Alcor, you immediately get to like not check on the body, but they will transport the body, they'll store the body, and then
maintain the body, I guess, I would assume. Yeah.
You need a lot of liquid nitrogen. They're actually there's a video on Nova by the PBS show Nova that they actually go to the facility and they kind of show the holding containers. And they're like,
do they show the people?
No.
I guess that's a privacy thing too. It's their body after
it's not
death.
like
how does that work?
It's not like hardcore like the glass window seeing all the frozen faces.
Yeah, sci-fi. Total sci-fi film.
It's more like a bunch of aluminum tubes, but each one houses 4 people with their heads down and their feet up, so the head's the last thing to be defrosted if anything were to go wrong. So
that's interesting. They hang them upside down.
But now they're just waiting. They're waiting for the time to be okay that, hey, we can defrost them and we'll bring them back.
Yeah.
But, well, we're not there yet. So we just
what determines that point? The CEO of this company is like, today's the day we can save all the lives, bring them back. They want to be brought back.
Yeah.
Part of buying the package, do you say like, I don't want to be woken up at this state? But I guess they can't say that because they don't know if they'll have the technology.
Yeah, well, the problem is, think of it like back in the day, like if someone had a heart attack, like we couldn't save them.
Yeah.
But nowadays, if someone has a heart attack, we can bring them back.
Yeah, there's many more methods and
so
monitoring is better.
As time goes on, we can actually improve the health, and science does advance. Now, the thing is, no one in the science industry is gunning, hey, let's get some ice people defrosted. Like, that's a priority of ours. So
Let's
that's the
get some
problem right now.
icy people. Let's defrost them.
But yeah, it's a food for thought. Maybe start saving now, and then when you're like, you're
gonna die, so you might as well blow it all on something.
Hey, we all die, but it's fine.
Well, do we have to now?
No, not
That's
now.
the question.
Well,
Now, way back when we discussed this in the lost episodes, it wasn't about the mass doing of this. It was about one person with an idea, and that was Walt Disney, right?
Yeah, Walt Disney. There's a rumor that his head is frozen somewhere.
Not with this company, but somewhere there he's hidden. Correct?
Yeah, so that maybe they could bring him back. Oh, right, we did talk about that. That was so long ago.
Well, you know what? Why don't we just do it while we're here?
Yeah.
You think? Because we can get 11 minutes out of both cameras, right?
Yep, timer's going. Should we even mention it?
What happened?
No.
No one.
Movie magic.
They're all recording though, right?
Yeah, it's all good now.
Wow. And our audio?
Yep, audio's gone.
Wow.
Nothing happened at all, I promise.
Yeah, that wasn't a whole conundrum. Let's talk about the law. What do you say?
I
Ready
am
for another topic?
Big fan of the law.
Big fan of the law? Are you an abiding citizen?
Most days.
Are you a lawbreaker ever? I don't know. Probably. We all are.
I've spent a day or two in my life.
I was going to say, I can prove that you're a lawbreaker today. There are some laws out there that'll get you. You might think you're the most perfect person out there, but you know what? There's some laws out there that are absolutely, dare I say, ridiculous, pretty much ridiculous, that you could get busted for.
All right, what laws am I breaking?
Well, this all spurred talking to a coworker of mine. I actually work with 2 part-time police officers. Oh. So that's fun because I can ask them so many questions when I'm at work. Like, what if this happens? What if this? Scenario this. I'm doing this, but this person's doing this, and is it my fault if I do this? Like, questions like that. It's brilliant. I love doing that stuff. So I asked the one coworker today, I was like, listen, what are some of the weirdest laws that we can get arrested for? Or if not arrested, in trouble?
Yeah.
You know?
What laws can we break?
So he opened up with saying one of the most strange laws out there is something that we all consent to being,
consent to breaking the law.
To breaking the law when you sign up for your license. So when you sign up for your license, there are 2 main things that you sign off on. That obviously we don't read the fine print.
No. Who reads the fine print?
Who reads the fine print? It's like that Apple accept terms. Yeah, I accept whatever. Just get me to my doodle jump.
Yeah.
So these 2 things. First thing is that gives the right to police officers to search you and your possessions with electronic detection, chemical detection devices, such as that could be like a breathalyzer. That could be drug sniffers in your car. That could even be, I'm guessing, maybe even a dog searching your stuff for contraband and everything.
So we sign off on that. That's
so
fair.
when you have a valid driver's license, that's you consent that, like, okay, yeah, I agree. That can happen if you want, That's for Pennsylvania, okay? This varies on state to state. New Jersey, there are some very different laws. I was asking some scenarios, and he said, like, when it comes to warrants and everything, it's different state to state. But in Pennsylvania, that gives the police the right to do that with their devices. The second one is very interesting. It says you signed when you got your license that you will never litter, and if you do, you will be fined and criminally charged for littering.
Did I sign off on that?
Maybe. You might not remember, but I can guarantee that you did because you have a valid driver's license in the state of Pennsylvania.
That is true. I am a valid driver.
So that states that you can be not necessarily arrested, but you can be fined and charged based on the account of what you did. So it really depends on like how the officer's feeling that day. A lot of criminal charges and arrests and even just run-ins with the police are all scenario based. So that's up to the police officer's, jurisdiction.
Yeah.
To charge you appropriately based on the situation at hand. So there's kind of 3 basic forms of getting in trouble. There's like an infraction, there's a misdemeanor, and then there's a felony. It's kind of 3 levels. But within those levels, there are sub-levels. So as my coworker was telling me, misdemeanor, yeah, it's serious. You're going to go to court for it. But there are different levels. There's an M1, M2, and M3. And then after that, you get to felony, which is automatic. Like, you do this, you're going to jail. That's like no questions asked. And homicide.
Homicide is last time I checked, that's pretty up there on the bad things to do.
Yeah.
Where are some like things that are misdemeanors?
Misdemeanors, that could be, there was a really interesting one that my coworker was telling me about. Potentially causing danger, basically. It was called, I wish I knew the technical term because it sounds so official, but it's kind of silly at the same time. Here's a perfect example. Ready? This is what they use in the academy, I'm sure, to train them on this potentially causing a conundrum. That's what I'm going to call it.
Causing a conundrum?
It's a misdemeanor. Okay, say a guy goes to a train track and starts stealing the rails and the metal to scrap it for money. He's not on purpose doing that to make the train crash. He's in it for lucrative opportunities. He's going to try to steal the spare metal and try to sell it and make some profit.
Right.
Yeah, stealing's illegal.
Stealing is illegal.
But also, you're taking train tracks away from a train. If a train drives off the train tracks and people die, that's the ultimate felony. That's, you're charged for life.
That's on you. Yeah.
That's on you. So they can pick that as like, oh, you're potentially causing a disaster. You're putting people in danger, Right. That's the situation. Another thing when it comes to driving, say you're peacefully protesting on a highway and you're walking against traffic on a highway and people are going full speed 65 or whatever on the highway and they see you and they start to slow down. People behind those cars don't slow down. They crash. That charge is on the person in the road, the obstacle. That's the same idea. That's a misdemeanor. That would be like a higher offense if no one gets hurt, an M3, based on the rank. But it would be automatic felony if people are injured or killed,
So what you're saying is I'm taking the next deer I hit to court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, potentially causing disaster. So infractions, sometimes called violations, petty offenses that are typically punishable by fines, but never jail time.
Never jail time. Okay.
Misdemeanors are criminal offenses that carry up to a year in jail in most states. So it varies on state to state.
Right.
But that's kind of like the max that a misdemeanor takes. Felonies are the most serious types of criminal offenses. Felonies often involve serious physical harm, homicides, but they're also offenses like white-collar crimes and also fraud schemes.
Your classic bank schemes.
Classic bank scheming. You're stealing money digitally, faking
I'm
wire
starting
numbers.
a freezing business where I'll freeze your brain for a couple bucks.
For a couple bucks in my basement.
Yeah.
In my shed.
Give me $250,000, freeze you.
$250,000. Couple bucks. Couple bucks, man.
Chump change.
You got some chump change, man.
If you're thinking of freezing yourself, we can strike a deal.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I think that's a felony.
Well, I'm gonna arrest you. Now, there are some laws. I wanted to look into some very strange laws that'll get your ass. Ready? I feel like this could be you, Thomas. Do you carry a Sharpie marker in public?
I do all the time.
I do also. I have one in my backpack. There's one in the bag right over there. I like going out in public with a Sharpie. You never know when you're going to need it. Watch out, because possessing a permanent marker in public is completely illegal, according to anti-graffiti laws in many states, including Florida, New York, and California.
So don't be running around with a
permanent marker of any kind.
In New York City.
Yeah. They could charge you if they're angry that day, or, good cop, bad cop, who knows? You might get a bad cop. Swearing in public, cursing, you can get fined. There's a lot of examples in here.
Hope it's
this
not
guy was charged
Pennsylvania.
$500 for swearing on a public bus.
He probably said more than one word.
Yeah, it was probably, and public drunkenness and public nudity and public indecency. That's
who knew that these were crimes?
There's all sorts of crimes. I have a whole list of them.
Well, what are some other key factors when it comes to
ridiculous ones? Stupidity is a big thing, and it's based on interrupting other people, stopping other people from doing what they're doing. If you get in the way, that's going to cause problems.
I can imagine. I always think of there's weird laws, I forget the state, but it's if you put an ice cream in your back pocket, it's illegal. like weird stuff like that. Like,
Yeah,
weird,
there's, like-
weird Florida laws that like someone did it, so we have to make a law to make sure no one does it
Exactly.
again.
It's like little things like that go on the state court level that get out there. There's other things that are really broad. Like technically we're not allowed to sing happy birthday because it's a copyrighted song, which is ridiculous. Computer fraud, you're not allowed to use fake names on the internet, even though everybody uses like usernames. So that's kind of a rundown of some crazy laws, you know?
Oh, there you go. Well, I think that's though, for this first video episode of the Two Top Podcast. I think it went pretty well.
I think so too. We learned some stuff.
You guys learned some stuff. You guys learned some stuff. They learned some stuff. So I'm thinking that these guys are going to go up probably a week after the audio one.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
But
audio is much easier to edit.
Hopefully you'll be seeing more of these. If it's popular, we'll be probably cranking these out for the rest of the summer. And then when our school year starts, maybe we can find something similar.
Yeah, in a new studio setup.
New studio, new walls.
Changing again, but the quality will be the same, if not better.
Quality, always top notch. But I think that's it for this week's episode. And we'll see you guys next time.
For another Two Topics.